Alright, welcome back, guys. As you can tell, we have somebody new here.
Hi!
Who are you?
Yeah, who are you? What are you doing here?
Yeah. I have no idea. I just appeared here out of nowhere and I'm happy to be here.
This is awkward.
Yeah. Excellent. Alright, I'm just gonna, no.
Actually, the true story is we ran into her on the street and we asked her if she wanted to be interviewed.
Yeah.
And she said yes.
I did.
You see
I have no idea why.
invite people. You can
No
be next.
idea.
That's actually not the true story. This is Steph, she's my friend, and she's awesome. And what did you do?
Yeah.
I started a Catholic business.
Whoa! Congrats!
And what did you do? What kind of business?
So it's a all-natural skincare brand. So at the moment we're producing rose oil for the face, but you can use it for the body, for the hair, for the nails, all other bodily nouns.
Whatever arises.
Roses.
Whatever situation arises.
Exactly.
Before we'll talk about it more, I have a game for you girls.
Oh, yes.
Hey. So, what we're gonna do? I'm saying the question, and we're closing our eyes.
Okay.
So, and this question will for example, who is the best singer? And you showing it the finger three of us yourself or for example you, me, or Holly, who is the best singer in your mind, and you're showing it, and after it we are open our eyes and see
Okay.
what happened here.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. I'm just reading and closing my eyes. So,
Okay, should we close our eyes right now?
Yeah. Okay. Who of us sleeps the longest? Open eyes. Okay. There's something to the story. What happened? How do you think?
I just really like to sleep. I think.
How long you can sleep? The longest sleep ever.
Oh my gosh, that's a really hard. I think when I came back from Canada this summer, it was a really long trip, and then traveling with the heavy suitcases on the train and all that sort of stuff. So when I got home, I slept for I don't even know how many hours, maybe 12 hours, something like that. I was done. I didn't suffer from any jet lag whatsoever because I just led my way through it.
That's impressive.
You see how people solve big problems? Just sleep.
Just sleep.
Yeah. Okay, next question.
Okay.
Who work the hardest?
I don't know if I can do this.
We can open our eyes.
I don't know.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know if I can do this, but I'm just gonna.
Come on, this is our beams. So
For sure.
You see, we're hardworking girls. So if you want to send for us some money,
Yes.
for a living,
We'll take it.
yeah,
Yeah.
just do it.
Hire us for things and buy things from us.
You see. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Who is the best dancer?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I don't know.
1, 2, 3. Eyes open. Oh!
Cool.
How do you think? Why we are choosing you?
Because I have a problem with sitting still and being calm. I don't know. I like dancing. I like it.
But actually, Holly, I don't know when I
I'm
met
not
her.
gonna
Girls
say
got
it.
rhythm.
Sorry, but when I met her first, I was just is she a ballet dancer?
That's what I'm saying. I was just about to say, you have a ballerina heart.
Wow.
I did ballet for quite a few years, so
Yeah,
that's probably why.
Yeah, you've
But
got a
some
ballerina heart.
Talented girl.
Yeah.
You see. Who I'm sitting with.
Yeah.
You see. Okay, closing eyes.
Okay.
Imagine that you're in Africa, North Africa.
It's
Okay.
warm and nice.
Yeah. Who reads the most? 1, 2, 3. Late. Holly, what happened with you? What is the problem? How do you think?
I don't know, like the last like 2 months, because I've had so much going on in my life that like changed a lot of things. I was finding it hard to focus, and so I wasn't reading as much the past 2 months. But I think I read 6 books 2 or 3 weeks into 2021. So
You see.
Yeah. I don't know.
And then I got a little bit sweaty.
I can imagine it actually at all.
I don't know. I tell you, like all the time, I'm like, how do you read so many books at one time? Like, I can barely handle like one book at a time, especially if it's not interesting.
Girl,
Yeah.
I understand you.
Yeah. If
Probably.
it's not interesting,
Yeah,
I'm
come
like,
on.
I
Bye.
can't do it. Even if it is interesting, I'm like, what's over there? What's that? And what's
Like,
going on?
life is
Like,
interesting.
I feel like you're always reading too, though.
Like, come on, I'm studying psychology. I need to.
It's like, I need to read.
Yeah, it's not something that I'm doing for fun. Like, for when, like, I had 4 classes, and for every class I need to read 100, like, pages, so it's not something that I like. It's a lot. After I'm just like, no books. Like, come on.
I'm boycotting the books.
Yeah. So, the last question. Last but not least. Yes. Who knows, like, the most of us, like, the most different languages enough for living in this life? Yeah, you can open your eyes.
Where's your favorite?
Like, I don't know. Circle. Maybe circle. Yeah. So,
Holly, what?
Yeah.
oh yeah. So, we did it. So, let's move to
Yeah.
our questions. Yeah, so, business.
Sure.
Business
Business of pleasure.
I don't know.
Okay. Woohoo. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so Holly started asking you about your business, and we wanted to know what inspires you, like, to have it, to start it.
Okay. Well, they say, you know, all great ideas come from hardship, and that's sort of no different for my company. So it was sort of the middle of the first year of the pandemic, and I have a language services company as well. That was sort of my main source of income, and that was hit really hard. So it was sort of a hard time for me financially, and it got to the point where I was like, you know, how am I going to be able to keep up the life that I'm used to living? So I started, you know, making my own sort of stuff myself to save money so I didn't have to buy it. And I was buying a rose oil actually, and I just remember one evening I was really, really upset, sort of stressed out, and I was sitting on my couch and I thought, you know, how am I gonna, you know, I'm running out of this, I can't afford to buy this and this and this and this and all this sort of stuff. And then I got to my rose oil and I thought, because I had already been, hopefully this is succinct, but I was already making my own face wash.
Which is very nice.
It's pretty good. Yeah, so I was making my own face wash, and I thought, and you know, I got to the rose oil and I thought, okay, is there a way that I could make that myself as well? And then I think it was, you know, I say this quite frequently, but it was sort of like a Jesus moment where I had this idea, and then, you know, about a week later, hours and hours and hours and hours of research on what would be the best formula and things like that, and yeah, and then it just sort of happened like that. So it was sort of, it came from a necessity, but then it turned into this really great blessing, I think. So
That's beautiful.
that's yeah.
Okay, but you're saying here about Jesus, about his influence on starting this whole idea, and how do you think how, like, this phase, your phase about Christianity influence on your company right now, and maybe influenced it before? Because I think it's a little bit different to have normal company, like, you know, without such basement, and what's your situation?
I would say that's a good point that you made, because that's probably been my biggest struggle so far, is how to combine the two. Because when you think of like Christianity, Catholicism, I doubt the first thought that comes to your mind is skincare. But I think, so the whole premise of the company is tied very closely to my faith, and that the belief of the good, true, and the beautiful. So a lot of it stems from, you know, what is natural beauty? What is true beauty? I believe that obviously true beauty shines forth from the soul outwards, but there's no reason that you can't also take care of your body as well. You know, we're integrated human beings, mind, body, and soul, so we've got to take care of all of that. So hopefully that answered your question, I guess.
Yeah, it's so deep, you know.
Yeah, and it was sort of like, you know, at the time I was really frustrated by hearing things on the news that were either false or that I just didn't understand. So, you know, hearing things like hydrochloroquine and, you know, quercetin and whatever other things that, you know, I wasn't understanding. And then I found that that also sort of carried over to, you know, if I was going to look for some sort of like a face mask or something. And obviously this is a little bit simplified, but it sort of carried on to like, I didn't understand what I was putting on my skin either. And I just got really tired and sort of overwhelmed and really bombarded by that. So it was sort of, and you know, everybody's sort of always like, you need this extra thing and this extra thing and that extra thing. And, you know, all together you have this skincare routine, so to speak. But you've got like 10 bottles of something on your countertop, and each of them does a specific, you know, is supposed to do a different thing. And I think it's just better, you know, with being totally overwhelmed with all the information that I wasn't understanding, and then kind of juxtapose that with regular life of this sort of consumer society that we live in. I was just sort of really overwhelmed, and I thought, I just want to make something simple that does what these 10 bottles are supposed to do, something natural that you can, you know what the ingredients are. It's very transparent. You know what the ingredients are. There's nothing weird. You don't have to be like a chemical engineer to understand the benefits of it, and you know, simplicity. Simple life is best. And so yeah, that sort of ties in as well to how it started.
Thank you. I'm just, you know, really happy to hear that in so hard moment, you know, in not being sure what's happening in the future, like not have even something for a living, you know, you are brave enough to go to buy, because I don't know how others feel it, but I'm studying business psychology and I'm getting more and more as a business. It's everyday fight for being in this, you know, in this society that people buy you, improve, like you're I don't know, you're feeling so big a responsibility for that. I'm just thinking like it could be like really hard passion, and maybe in influence before that you have your school, like language school, and maybe you have some experience of it. But for sure it's like totally another area.
Yeah.
Like it's like whoa.
Yeah. I found that I sort of prefer it to being employed by someone else. I like that sort of creative outlet. I like having control over my schedule, and obviously like all of the onus falls upon your shoulders. So whether you're working or not, you know, if you're not working, there are consequences that are solely your responsibility. If you are working, you know, obviously there's stuff out of your control as well, but it's still your responsibility to be able to deal with everything going on. But I find that I prefer that to like someone telling me what to do. Just my own, maybe, you know, my own personality, I guess, but yeah. It's hard, but it's the reward sort of cancels that out a lot of the time, at least. Not always, but most of the time.
And through this process, like what has been like the most, or like one of the most interesting things that you've learned as you've been learning like new things and setting up your
You're
business
saying that
and-
you're learning like every day.
Yeah, like what has been like a really interesting or random or thing you didn't maybe expect to learn too?
Yeah.
I think what surprised me the most was how rewarding taking personal responsibility is for something. And that might sound a little bit weird, but like when you're sort of in control, as much as humanly possible, of course, but when you're sort of in control of this business or you're trying to create something, it's very rewarding to see your hard work sort of come to fruition. Exactly, yeah. And that was when I first started, you know, that was really rewarding for me because, you know, all the previous jobs, and I've had a lot of other jobs, but it was rewarding when you take personal responsibility, but it was for the sort of grander vision of someone else's, or you know, the company that was someone else's, even if you are sort of invested in that.
Okay.
But yeah, that was sort of a fun lesson to learn, that like personal responsibility isn't necessarily something to be shied away from or something scary. It's something like very rewarding and can be a lot of fun at times.
And do you say that it was totally your idea? You know, no one's give you this like, you know, underground.
Well, I had some suggestions actually from someone who was really close to me at the time, kind of suggest like, you know, you're doing your own face wash and you like making, you know, other sorts of cosmetics for yourself, like maybe you should think about doing something for other people. And the funny thing was, at the time I was sort of like, me with a skin line, like, you know, do skincare, that's really weird. But then, you know, the more sort of research I did into it, I found this product I really believe in, and this whole formula thing, I was like, well, we'll share it with other people.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And we're so glad that you are sharing it with other people.
Yeah.
Experience.
That is. Okay, maybe you have some advice for our editor, maybe from your experience of this business, but we can say it about more things that you have in your life. But something that, you know, could, maybe there are some people right now here who are just looking for new paths, new thing, as maybe they are a struggle.
I think my advice at the moment would probably be to do what you can within your means, you know, work hard, brainstorm, pray about it, you know, if you're a Christian or otherwise, but definitely, you know, try and search for new ways, but then at some point you have to sort of release the reins and let go, and also take time to enjoy the fruits of your labor, yes, but to also make sure that, you know, you're taking time to, as well, like I said, take care of your mind, body, and soul. So, you know, do what you can and then let God do the rest, is what I would say.
Good solid advice.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
No problem.
We're so glad to have you on With Love from Lublin, and
Thanks for having me, guys.
we're gonna do something cool here. Just
Okay.
give us a second as we figure this out.
Sure. I'm not doing it right.
Yay!
Yay!
We can
bye,
say
bye.
together with love from Lublin.
Sure.
With love from Lublin.